Trump meets with Zoran Mamdani in the White House yesterday.
Trump played chess. Today was brilliant.
He is not a formula, we'll put it that way. He kind of, he owns Mamdani, first of all. I believe this is a massive art of the deal move, and we'll go into it. But first, let's just watch the videos. Welcome to Doug in Exile.
It's the Doug Show, Doug Show, Doug Show. It's the Doug Show, Doug Show, Doug Show.
This is where the happy patriots are. My name is Doug Tenaple. I'm the creator of Earthworm Jim, the video game character and animated cartoon and toy line. Cat Scratch for Nickelodeon. I did Neverhood for Steven Spielberg and DreamWorks and Bill Gates at Microsoft. I've also worked for the VeggieTales. I was an exec producer of 150 episodes for their Netflix deal back in 2014, where I got them their first Daytime Emmy Award. I've created over 22 graphic novels where I drew the comic, over 8,000 pages of comic work. I'm a classically trained portrait artist. I taught at Houston Baptist University for 4 years in screenwriting, animation history, storyboarding, and faith and culture. So I'm the professor and an artist. I'm here to save the world instead with my politics. Here's Trump in the Oval Office with Zoran Mamdani. Get ready for some surprises, folks.
I want to congratulate. I think you're going to have hopefully a really great mayor. The better he does, the happier I am. I will say there's no difference in party. There's no difference in anything. And we're going to be helping him.
Wait, Trump, Your Honor, I disagree. There's no difference in party. You're a Republican and he's a communist. Okay, I'm on the Trump train. Whatever you say, boss. No difference in party.
To make everybody's dream come true, having a strong and very safe New York. And congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, shake hands with the devil there. Now, this is not going to make sense if you don't know Trump's way. I'm just going to take you back. Before you poo-poo this method, this is Trump's method of how he treats enemies. And I mean hardened enemies. He goes in with a smile and he shakes their hand. We saw it with President Xi. He said, I've got nothing but respect for President Xi. Trump's number one enemy is communist China. He also did the same thing of Rocket Man. He was chummed around, and a lot in America were upset that he was so friendly with his enemies.
Medicare enrollment is now. You have till December 7th. And once that Medicare enrollment is done, those phones are going to clog up. You'll wish you'd have called Chapter, our sponsor, at 631-961-8696. I'm here in my backyard. This is where I'll be retiring. And I'll be calling Chapter to help me with Medicare because they're the only name that I trust. Many of you have already called Chapter, and you tell me that you trust them. Not only that, but the average caller saves about $1,600 per year. Now, I don't know about you, though I live in this palatial estate with a lovely dog spot, I still would use Chapter because I could use saving about $1,600 a year. Some of you have said you've saved as much as $3,600 a year. You can buy a lot of tacos at Taco Bell for that. So call my friends at Chapter. It's actually brave of them to sponsor this show because I've been canceled so many times, but it really helps this show out if you call 631-961-8696 and tell them Doug in Exile sent you.
So now he's friendly with Zoran Mamdani. And everyone suddenly goes, why is he screwing over MAGA in the conservative base like this? It's like, guys, this is how Trump navigates. He's very comfortable befriending enemies. He would chum up and have a lot of respect with Putin. This is what he does. It's okay. It's just saying, you know what? I respect you, Mamdani, as a mayor, as a very powerful Democrat that could very well be the future of the Democrat Party. That's all he's saying, guys, is he's showing some respect for a fellow leader, and he knows that Mamdani has some power. I don't believe he's cowering like a dog. I don't believe he's lying to anyone. I just believe this is normal Trump strategy.
Absolutely brilliant. I am in the city council. I work with DSA council members, and I will tell you this guy's got a lot of answering to do when he comes back to New York, because he's got the DSA Linda Saussure types that are going to hold his hands over the fire for taking a meeting with Trump, let alone come out of it buddy-buddy. I think Trump was brilliant. I think Mamdani actually, we need the president, cannot move forward without, federal dollars. So he knows he's between a rock and a hard place.
Jack?
Mr. President, I want to know from the policy.
Oh, he calls on Jack Posobiec, and he's on a first-name basis with Jack. By the way, some of these videos were posted by BEGGED, and J.D. Vance reposted, the vice president reposted our little guy BEGGED.
As well that Mayor-elect Mamdani talked a number of times about it on the campaign was shifting the tax burden for property taxes from what he called minority communities to white-based communities and putting more taxes on white people. I also noticed that in your acceptance speech, you didn't mention anything about America.
Now look at Trump. Look at the body language here. While Jack is asking a question, Mamdani's going, but should I answer him? And Trump just kind of hits him like, oh, this is respect between two leaders hitting each other. Trump absolutely dominant, sitting down. Mamdani absolutely subservient to the Don.
Speech, you didn't mention anything about America or Christians or white people in general, and so I didn't know if that was one of the policies that you guys had spoken about.
We focused on affordability. We focused on the cost of living crisis. What I will say is that I am very much interested in property tax reform because what we see right now in New York City is a system that is so inequitable that it can't even stand up in court. And
okay, but still, like white people should pay more property taxes than blacks? Did you talk about that? Jack Posobiec trying to keep him on topic, and Trump and Mamdani have no interest in jumping into my online drama. That's not where these guys are at. Different sport right now, guys.
And this has always been the question about Zoran. How is he going to navigate this? How's he going to appease the DSA? Because that's who he is clearly. And they stand behind him 100%. He's going to have a hard time explaining this to them. Now, to the point of taking up with Trump, it was brilliant. It was necessary. It had to be done. I come from a district and I come from a city that they are terrified of what this young man is going to bring to the city of New York as far as his anti-Semitism and his socialistic ways. He's made no bones about it.
The president and I spoke about the importance of not only building more housing, but also making sure that regulation of housing is something that is manageable to actually get through and
manageable by having
cause of yet another weight that we see in our city.
You're continuing this idea of race-based property taxes.
No, to be very clear, no, the use of the term was a description of neighborhoods, not a description of intent.
Okay, good. So when I say black neighborhoods are full of more crime than white neighborhoods, that's not a description of race. That's just a description of neighborhoods. Has nothing to do with race. When he says white neighborhoods ought to pay more, fine. He might mean that as a shorthand for richer neighborhoods. Okay. And then you can say the same thing of black neighborhoods, Muslim neighborhoods, Asian neighborhoods, and you are not to be accused of racism because you're not talking about the race. That's Mamdani's standard. So I'm going to hold him to it. That's all. I don't believe he means it. I believe when it politically serves him to roll out the white people are oppressive to black people card, he'll use it. But you know what? Trump's giving him a little credit, so I will too. Willing to walk along with Trump on this one, though I disagree with Trump. I think Zoran Mamdani is a psychopath. I also feel the same way about Kim Jong-un and the same thing about President Xi. And Trump, his method is to chum up with these guys. Not in agreement, but just respecting them as leaders.
I think what Trump is going to do, we didn't see this behind closed doors, but I think Trump laid it out really, really square because that's what Trump does.
Discussion, but just days ago, you referred to President Trump as a despot who betrayed the country.
I can't hear this question.
His worst nightmare and accused him of having a fascist agenda. Are you planning to retract any of these remarks in order to...
Long question.
I think both President Trump and I, we are very clear about our positions and our views. And what I really appreciate about the president is that the meeting that we had focused not on places of disagreement, which there are many, and also focused on the shared purpose that we have in serving New Yorkers. And frankly, that is something that could transform the lives of the 8.5 million people who are currently struggling under a cost of living crisis with 1 in 4 living in poverty. And
the problem is these two men have completely different philosophies on solving that problem of New Yorkers. I think Trump is not. He wanted to surprise him and knock him off his feet a little bit. Here's more from Jack Unheard. Breaking: President Trump says he thinks Zoran Mamdani wants to deport criminal illegals even more than he does. Now, I have no idea where that's coming from. I can only say this is a very interesting tact that Trump is taking, and I'll roll with him with it. Let's see where he goes with this one.
We can both have differences when it comes to ICE agents in New York City. Mr. Mamdani, you call ICE a rogue government entity. I wonder how.
I like how the journalist has to describe to Trump where the difference is. Trump, in case you're not aware, what he said about ICE.
You reconcile your differences on both of those.
Yeah, how?
Well, I think we're going to work them out. And I think that if we have known murderers and known drug dealers and some very bad people, we want to get them out. And the mayor wants to have peace. We discussed this at great length, actually, maybe more than anything else. He wants to have a safe New York. Ultimately, a safe New York is going to be a great New York. If it's not safe, no matter how well we do with pricing and with anything else, we can talk about anything you want. If you don't have safe streets, it's not going to be a success.
So Zoran Mamdani nods. Yes, we want safe seats. The problem is these men have completely different responses to how you make it safe. Mamdani wanting to defund the police, one of those guys. Trump being pretty hard on bringing in the police. I think he's trying to establish a friendship with the mayor, but I don't know that. I can't read Trump's mind. I have no idea. This policy reminds me of when he said, we're going to bring in 500,000 Chinese students. And you just go, well, I can't follow that. I don't understand. I'm fine with it. I'm just reporting here. Okay. Let him run with Mamdani, wants New York to be safe, and they have just different tactics. I believe this is true about most Democrats. Most Democrats, they're not evil. They disagree. I believe they're well-intentioned. And my problem is that good intentions often brings out more disaster and more evil than some guy with a mustache who's like just, I want to kill people. More people are killed by people coming in and saying, we will do good. We're going to be compassionate conservatives. That's how you kill people.
So we're going to work together. We're going to make sure that if there are horrible people there, we want to get them out. I think he wants to get them out, maybe more than I do. So we'll work together. We discussed it at great length. Yes, please.
Okay, Mamdani did not nod at the idea that illegal aliens were horrible people. So, okay. This is a wait and see thing. He calls Mamdani a rational person. Again, I think this is a tactic of Trump's. I don't know. We'll roll with it. I'm with him. Remember, I'm on Team Trump. If he says Mamdani, we're going to keep an eye on him, then there we go. Here we go.
I met with a man who's a very rational person. I met with a man who really wants to see New York be great again. And I can say again, because New York was great. When I came down to Washington initially, the city was so hot. It was doing great. We were having some telltale signs of problems. We had a mayor that was not doing a great job. But
that's de Blasio. But is Trump saying that making free busing, is that going to make New York great? Busing that they can't afford?
Still, it was moving along, and it went bad. It really went, pretty bad.
Went south.
And I think it's been at lower points, but it went pretty bad. I think he can bring it back. Now, the question is, will he bring it back all the way? Will he bring it back greater than ever before, which is, I guarantee, that's his wish. I think he wants to make it greater than ever before.
I agree that Mamdani's wish, he thinks it's going to be greater than ever before. But this is going to be a socialist hellhole. I got news for Trump. However, it looks like Trump is operating under a different strategy. I think he will get more out of Mamdani by befriending him than by making him into an enemy. That's my theory on it.
I clarified your answer to Stephen Nelson. He asked about your comment calling the president a fascist. And your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
This is a very good response from Trump here. The journalists have no interest in making New York great again, America great again, in helping Trump or Mamdani. They just want clicks and drama. So this journalist, who's very pretty, did a great job of saying, Mamdani called you a fascist, Trump. Now, a wussy, a thin-skinned person, which everyone accused Trump of being a thin-skinned person. He would completely freak out on Mamdani and say, "You're an evil jerk monster for calling me that." Trump doesn't do that because that's what a man does. A man does not respond to his enemy the way his enemy wants him to. I'm thinking of J.D. Vance's response to Nick Fuentes when Nick Fuentes said he was intermarrying, said J.D. Vance was intermarrying with a different race, called his Indian wife a Jeet, some kind of a slander. And J.D. Vance said, "Oh, you get called names." He jollied it down because you don't always just bury the needle on your enemies, go flip out. A fool gives full vent to his anger, and you don't just go nuts and start cussing him out. Now watch Trump's response here about Mamdani.
I've spoken about.
That's okay. You can just say
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's easier. It's,
Yes.
it's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
You can just say it that you called me a fascist.
And just to clarify your answer.
So Trump is showing strength here, going, "Yeah, you said it." You can just say it. And Mamdani, a fellow leader, goes, "Oh, okay. Yeah, I said it." Here's a similar kind of strength in John Fetterman. Watch this technique where he mocks the left. This is about him being primaried by Democrats. This is how a leader, a man, handles it. You go, "Boo-hoo, I'm not afraid of you."
I hope so, because I guarantee whoever they put up, they're going to just make me look, the reasonable guy that's going to work with both sides together and find a way for Pennsylvania. And now it's an absolute lie. Voting to keep our government open, that was a vote to make sure that 42 million Americans get their SNAP. And now we're going to pay all these people like the military and the Capitol Police and all of those folks now too. So now if they want to primary me, so it's like, but my point, it's like I've been on the side of common sense, and I've always going to put our country for party. And I think most people now realize that shutting our government down was wrong.
Guys, I can't stop liking John Fetterman. He's a Democrat. I hate Democrats. And look at this guy. Look at this face. Look at that face. That is good drama. And he keeps standing with the people. "Oh, you're going to primary me? I'm not afraid. Bring it on. Because I was here voting to keep the government open, to pay our military." It's very Trumpy, very populist what John Fetterman is doing. Very good. They asked Trump if he felt comfortable living in New York under a Mamdani. Again, the press just wants to create division. Trump and Mamdani, they're not having any of it.
You're a billionaire. You have different
You're a billionaire.
nowadays than you used to. But you used to call New York City home. Would you feel comfortable living in New York City under a Mamdani administration?
Yeah, I would. I would. Especially after the meeting. Absolutely.
Especially after the meeting, he'd feel comfortable living in a New York run by a socialist slash communist Muslim. Guys, maybe this is a weakness of populism. Maybe Trump doesn't get it. But I trust his gut.
What makes you comfortable?
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought.
What makes you comfortable? We agree on more than we thought. Trump, free bus rides that Kathy Hochul won't pay for. I think this is a strategy and not a policy, is my opinion. But,
I think I want him to do a great job.
I do too.
Help him do a great job.
If you're an American, you don't want Democrats to fail. I want Democrats to make America great again. My problem is Democrats, they kill babies and mutilate children.
He may have different views.
Yeah, you think?
But in many ways, we were discussing when Bernie Sanders was out of the race, I picked up a lot of his votes, and people had no idea because he was strong on not getting ripped off in trade and lots of the things that I've practiced and been very successful on. Tariffs, a lot of things. Bernie Sanders and I agreed on much more than people thought. And when he was...
and Bernie Sanders calls Trump names, but Trump is the bigger man in finding agreement regardless of politics.
Put out of the race, I think, quite unfairly, if you want to know the truth. Many of the Bernie Sanders voters voted for me. And I felt very comfortable, frankly, in seeing that and saying that. And, it just turned out to be a statistical truth. But... no, I feel very comfortable. I would feel very, very comfortable being in New York, and I think much more so after the meeting. Yes.
Okay, so I think Trump is trying to be kind. Obviously, he's very kind to Mamdani. I think he's being very generous, very magnanimous. Makes him look bigger. We'll see where this plays out. We'll see what Mamdani's response is. I think if Trump maybe even is saying something positive about Mamdani, and if Mamdani fails, then Trump can say, well, I had nothing but good thing to say about him. And then if Mamdani succeeds, then Trump can say, yep, I was on his side all along. I don't know if Trump's thinking that way. That's just my own speculation. I do speculate that this is a terrible idea. This is from Libs of TikTok. Democrat and convicted child molester running for mayor in Rhode Island. Probably a bad strategy, Democrats. Michael English, a Democrat and a convicted child molester, is currently running for mayor in Providence, Rhode Island. Again, Democrats. He molested a 13-year-old girl, served only 15 months of a 20-year sentence before being released. He then spent an additional 19 months in prison after violating a no-contact order with the victim. English does not appear on the Rhode Island sex offender registry due to his registry expiring after only 10 years. There you go. There's your Democrat Party, guys. I guess Mamdani looks pretty good compared to this guy. Now, I hate to waste all your time, but I have to do it. We have to save a cartoon for the end of the episode. It's Candace Owens, the bug-eyed.
Like I said,
She's a bug-eyed freak. She's implying that because there's people around Charlie Kirk that used Egypt Airlines, that they were some kind of a spy with the government that shot Charlie.
Emailed us, and we took our time vetting this tip. We vetted it across multiple government agencies and to really the highest levels of government. So this is legit. I've printed it out, and I'm going to read around.
I'm going to read. I think she's going to read this a lot and stare a lot like this. Stare straight ahead and talk like there's nothing going on in here. Hello, I'm looking 15 miles beyond you. I've got the 1,000-mile stare. I don't think Candace Owens is old enough to have been to Vietnam to fully own the 1,000-mile stare.
Owned some parts, removing some parts to provide this individual, who, by the way, I have no idea who this is, but to give him and her even some more coverage. They're taking a tremendous risk. So I'm just going to read this to you guys.
This is a lie. She's setting all this up like she doesn't know this person. She's going, I don't know who this is. She says it like 1,000 times. That means she knows who it is.
Candace, I'm aware that you suspect the government and other entities are involved in the events leading up to and on September 10th. You might have been wondering why SUBTT made so many visits to Wilmington, Delaware, out of all places. And I can personally answer that. The information I am giving you will implicate the FBI and various other government agencies all at the same time. I am entirely confident in stating that the plane and those vehicles are connected to 920 North King Street, which is...
Okay, this is the address that is everything. The plane, airplane, is tied to North King Street.
At a place that is marketed also as 1 Rodney Square. And here's where it gets big. In June of 1997, the Department of Justice's own directory lists, quote, Wilmington Residence Office, 1 Rodney Square, Suite 404.
There's the address, 1 Rodney Square, Suite 404, 920 King Street, Wilmington, Delaware. Remember that.
920 King Street.
Here goes.
Wilmington, Delaware, 19801. That is your line to know that it is a federal resident office, 920 North King Street. And
only the feds are in that office, guys. Only the feds.
At the same address, the United States Secret Service.
Secret Service.
920 North King Street, Wilmington, Delaware, 19801.
They're guilty. Because this Egyptian heir is also at that address. This is so dumb. Guys, this is what conspiracy theorists do. By the end, you're going to be laughing at her so hard.
The building that Snowden leaked, find one that makes it look brown and then compare it to 920 North King Street in Wilmington. It looks exactly like a mini version of the thing. Back to 920 North King Street. 920 North King Street. That 920 North King Street is also the FBI. Federal.
The FBI is at 920 North King Street. Only bad guys are at this 920 North King Street, right? Only the conspiracy is tied to 920 North King Street. Just remember that fact. She's got all her Scooby-Doo facts. She's got all her printout.
Move from that airport to 920 North King Street. 920 North King Street has been a federal residence office since at least 1997, and today it houses the DEA, the FBI, and the United States Secret Service.
Oh, yeah. The Secret Service is there, too. The SS. 920 North King Street.
All at the same address. Wilmington is undeniably a terminal point, and the only logical reason points to 920 North King Street.
Okay, they're insiders, they're feds. That's all government agents, 920 North King Street. Guilty. The airplane, guilty. This is the standard Candace Owens is setting up. Anyone associated with 920 North King Street is a Fed, working for the feds who shot Charlie Kirk.
I read this, checked it, verified it.
Now, this is the Macron lawsuit against Candace Owens. Guess where her lawyer works? This is too delicious. Remember, she said Macron, the chick or whatever, his wife was a guy. So they launched a lawsuit. It went to Candace Owens' lawyer. What is the address of Candace Owens' lawyer, guys?
1 Rodney Square, 920 King Street.
Her lawyer has the same address as the Egyptian airplane that supposedly brought someone to Charlie Kirk's shooter. So Candace Owens' lawyer address is 1 Rodney Square, 920 North King Street. So she's tied to the feds, tied to the CIA since 1997. And by Candace Owens' own standard, Candace Owens is guilty of shooting Charlie Kirk.
Wilmington, Delaware, 19801. I am passing this to you because you are honest enough to see this for what it is.
Oh, yeah, patronize your audience. This is only for the honest, smart people. Long pause.
So,
that's not an answer, lunatic. Her lawyer has the same address as the Egypt Air. So I guess they're both working for the feds. You heard it here first, guys. Candace Owens is at her lawyer that did the Macron website is at the same address as the Egypt Air, the feds, the FBI, the CIA, and the Secret Service. So therefore, Candace Owens is compromised. I'm Doug in Exile. She's guilty. We're innocent. Subscribe.